Tech news, game news. I know you're excited. We've had one whole episode. We have millions of fans, maybe, working on it. Anyway, guys, welcome to Robeytech, and this week we're talking about the latest and greatest in terms of tech news and game news. Starting with EVGA and their awesome X299 BIOS update for the 10980 XE. That's still a mouthful. Can we get a better name, Intel? Anyway, EVGA is looking to make records with their upcoming Core 10 releases. After releasing their performance focus board to start the whole thing, the X299 Dark, which has all kinds of cooling built into the board, EVGA has also released an overhauled BIOS to add new features for overclockers. The overclock robot allows you to configure per core voltage settings and stress test your setup within the BIOS. Did you hear me? Within the BIOS. That means you don't need an OS or a third-party program to stress test your setup. Can we get a hooray? Hooray! This is especially good for those of you waiting for the Core 10 series CPU, as recent tests report that from the community have stated that the new 10980 XE can hit clock speeds of cores 5.1 gigahertz across all cores. That's 18 #beefy cores and 36 silky threads running at a very powerful 5.1 gigahertz. We can't wait to do a build with one of these and see how many frames per second we can get in that WoW Classic PC. Or in, I don't know, League of Legends. Or let's see, what else? Maybe in Oregon Trail. It's going to be amazing. Following up with that, I don't know if you know this, but MSI has leaked the Threadripper board. And I'm a little bit I'm sad about this. For a couple reasons. That's not to say I'm not excited about the new Threadripper, but just stay tuned and pay attention. The next Threadripper lineup is supposed to be launched next in November, or so about a month from now. And those among the PC specialists have been speculating for a while whether we can expect the same socket support we've seen in the past with X399 basically moving forward. Well, thanks to MSI adding some motherboard mentions to a promo page that aren't out yet, we've discovered that the motherboards for the next Threadripper CPU will bear the TRX40 or WRX80 name for their enthusiast workstation applications. The leak was on a page of their site, said that a $25 Steam gift card is redeemable with the purchase of select products, and listed the Creator TRX40. Other boards from Asus and Gigabyte have also leaked with the TRX40 name. The socket will be brand new and won't be backwards compatible with X399 motherboards. Let's just take a moment, because we need to press F to pay respects. The end of the whole forwards and backwards compatible thing has actually happened. And though we're excited about the new Threadripper thing, that has been something that's been super awesome to actually have from AMD, and I just want to take a moment of silence to just suffer. Okay, we're back. So let us know if you want to see the new Threadripper build on the show. Now, this one hits a little bit because Noctua has officially announced that they're going all black. Now, everybody knows that Noctua is known throughout the PC building world for their quiet fans and cooling solutions, and also being ugly and not matching any aesthetic whatsoever in any build ever, since they are tan and brown. I mean, seriously. Now, we built a PC for Kiefer using these fans recently, and oh boy, maybe he should have waited just a few days for the all-black coolers. And as we all know, an all-black cooler makes everything colder. I don't know why he put that in there, but, you know, I'm going to go with it. It will look good. I guess that's what he's saying, is if it looks good, then we obviously know it's going to be colder, and that's where Josh's mind is maybe going. I don't know. He wrote this thing, not me. Anyway, available right now, Noctua has released the NHD15 Chromax Black 140mm dual tower cooler with its 6 heat pipes. The NHU12S Chromax Black 120mm single tower cooler, and the NHL9i Chromax Black low profile and ultra compact cooler. Pricing is around $100, $70, and $50 USD respectively. Now, we typically use water cooling on the show, but I think we might try a murdered out all black everything PC. What do you guys think about that? Just tell me in the comments below. Now, let's get on to some game news. We've talked a little bit about tech, but we're going to talk a little bit about games. And we're going to start with Red Dead Redemption 2, because guess what? It's coming to PC. And I think the memes have been right on point because we've been waiting for this for quite a while. Red Dead Redemption 2 won all the awards last year with its console release, and I'm sure you've heard that finally it's coming to PC on November 5th, with pre-orders starting yesterday, October 9th. Now, to be clear, this is only on Rockstar's website. This is not on Steam, which is announced and coming out later on in December. The PC edition will feature new guns, horses, items, and more. PC players will also get 3 new bounty hunter missions, 2 new gang hideouts, 2 new treasure maps, and 5 new trinkets. A lot of the new weapons and horses will only be available in Red Dead Online, but on PC will be available to use in the story mode. But what about the recommended specs? Well, Windows 10 with the April 2018 update, a Core i7-4770K, AMD Ryzen 5 1500X, 12 gigabytes of RAM, a GTX 1060, 6 gigs, or a RX 484 gigs for you AMD fans, 150 gigs of hard drive space, DirectX compatible sound, and while recommended specs are skewing towards 1080p 60 gaming, we all know that we're going to want more performance out of our game so we can bench test Red Dead Redemption 2 when it comes out. The PC version will also include increased draw distance, higher quality global illumination and ambient occlusion. Does anybody, Brian, do you know what that means?
No.
Okay, well then you will. It'll look better, improve snow trails, improve reflections and higher resolution shadows, tessellation tree textures. Gosh, tessellation tree textures. Let's all celebrate. Just because I like to say tessellation, it's just a fun word. Improve grass and fur textures, because hey, everybody likes fur to look better. HDR support, unlocked resolution, 4K and higher, ultra-wide aspect ratio, and multi-monitor support. And also unlocked frame rate. Basically, it will look superior to the console version in every single way, and you can play with all of those other options to your heart's content. We love PC, and we love gaming on PC, but I'm already looking forward to all of the different people as people struggle to kind of figure out what their actually optimal setup, optimal, I'm going to say optimal one more time, optimal setup is going to be. Now, finally, we're going to close this out with WoW 8.3 updates for Inzoth. While a lot of you are probably playing a ton of WoW Classic, myself included, like us, content is still coming out for the retail version of the game and Battle for Azeroth. Battle for Azeroth is coming down to its final major content patch for this expansion. Patch 8.3 is out on the PTR and is called Visions of Inzoth, and I hope I'm saying that correctly. If I'm not, please don't get mad at me. Please don't write in the comments. Just give me some grace. Come on, internet. It can be there. We can have grace for people who are trying to do this correctly. And brings with it a lot of awesome. And I'm not talking about the comments in YouTube. I'm talking about patch 8.3. Don't worry, we aren't going to spoil anything for you because there's not really a whole lot to cover in terms of what we know from the story. What we do know is that there's a new feature called Assaults, or similar assaults in Legion and faction assaults in Battle for Azeroth. Inzoth attacks under Uldum or the Veil of Eternal Blossoms, which has been restored when not under attack by the old gods. And man, that place was beautiful. There are gateways into Nightmare, and by killing enemies in the Nightmare, before you instantly reach 0, you get a new currency for entry into the new feature, because complicated is always better. We have Horrific Visions, which are basically the worst possible outcome for both Stormwind and Orgrimmar. Blizzard compared them to Mage Tower in Legion, but are actually a bit more like Chromie challenges and the Withered training scenarios. 1 to 5 person scenarios where you have a sanity meter that ticks down over time, and as you take damage, the objective is to kill enemies and clear out sections of the city for different rewards. You can help Zappy Boy save Corrupted Shaman. As you compete more and more rewards, you'll be able to help and get further and further. It's basically, I don't know, Eternal Darkness meets challenges. And we all loved Eternal Darkness. We wish there'd be a second one, but maybe not done by Dennis Dyack. You know, I love you, Dennis, but we're ready for things to move on. There's also a whole new talent tree for Horrific Vision, similar to the Chromie scenario, that can be leveled up. This is one of the main daily repeatable pieces of content for patch 8.3. Players will get a new raid, Nai Aloth, the Waking City, 12 boss raid, flying through a Black Empire city where you will fight Inzoth twice. New reward updates, new playable races. This is cool because I know we're going to show this in it, but the Vulpera and the Mecha Gnomes, so you can finally play as a Fox Boy and a Cybernetic Gnome you've always wanted to play. I mean, honestly, I think both Brian and I cosplayed as those last year for Halloween, and I'm pretty excited about that. Goblins and Worgen are getting a special heritage armor after a recent update to their character models, which is great because Worgen are my favorite. Worgen get top hats, so they can probably going to be the best Worgen getting top hats is probably going to be the best thing in the update. And finally, the auction house is getting a much needed overhaul. You can put together a shopping list so you can save items, you can buy repeatedly. Buying in stacks is done. Now you can choose whatever quantity of an item you want in a particular price and just buy that. No more purchasing 20 stacks of ore because that's what we had before. For sellers, if someone wants to buy parts of a stack of your items, you get the gold and the items back that don't sell. This is all to alleviate the issues that happen all the time at the beginning of the expansion where resources got posted in a single stacks as players acquired them to get the most gold as possible early on in the expansion and flooding the auction house with tons of listings at the same price. This is also should help a little bit with the undercutting where buying out someone's stack and listing it as smaller stacks at a slightly higher price shouldn't happen since it doesn't matter who's selling a particular stack at a specific price. You just have to choose what price you want and how many, and that's it. And that's it for today's game news. That was a lot of World of Warcraft. And I know that World of Warcraft's kind of in an interesting place right now. Maybe we'll cover that later on next week. We hope you've enjoyed the stories. Again, we're always trying to improve. And make sure you check out our weekly show on Monday, Thursdays and Fridays for the Morning Mixer from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. And then also Robeytech from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Wednesdays where we build awesome PCs and answer your questions. Outside of that, guys, that was the news for this week, and we'll be back next week with more news. Make sure you subscribe, follow, comment below, and outside of that, just tell us how awesome we are. We're always getting better, and we're always trying to improve. We'll talk to you guys later.